Governor Bello Matawalle says Zamfara State is safe for investors. Kano government appoints Nasura Ado Bayero as new emir of Bichi Emirates. Obasanjo asked the emir of Kano's removal on business, while Senate approved Buhari's request for $22.7 billion loan. On sport, Italian government suspends all sporting activities amid coronavirus fear. And on the international scene, China's President Xi pays first visit to Wuhan. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. My name is Samira Ibrahim. Now on the news in full. Governor Bello Matawalle of Zamfara State has assured local and international investors of safety and conducive business climate in Zamfara State. He said the problem his administration inherited was not Boko Haram, but farmers-herders conflict which he was able to resolve. He spoke on Saturday in Kaduna shortly after Zamfara celebrated its special day at the ongoing Kaduna International Trade Fair. Governor Bello Matawalle, who was represented by the State Commissioner of Commerce and Industry, Alhaji Sufyan Bashir Yugoda, said the state had regained its status as an agricultural hub, adding that it was now a place where business will strive. Farmers-herders conflict was what the administration inherited from the previous government, and the present government was able to restore the situation to normal. The governor assured that Zamfara is now peaceful and conducive for business. He therefore invited both local and foreign investors to come to the state for investment. The governor said that the administration had embarked on infrastructure development to ease business and to make the state accessible for potential investors. The Kano State government has appointed Nasura Ado Bayero as the new emir of Bichi. This was announced by the secretary to the state government, Usman Alhaji, shortly after the former emir Aminu Ado Bayero was appointed as the new emir of Kano on Monday. Nasur is the younger brother to the newly appointed emir Aminu Ado Bayero. Earlier, Muhammad Sanusi II was removed by the state government over allegations of consistently refusing to abide by the instructions given to him. According to Usman Alhaji, the removal was in line with the recommendation of the Kano State Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, which summons the emir. Emir Muhammad Sanusi's removal as emir has sent a massive wave of shock around the country. Among those who reacted to the news is ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. Lending his voice, the former Nigerian leader described the removal of Sanusi as the emir of Kano as good and bad news. The former president also prayed to God to give Sanusi courage for his chosen path following his destroyment. The former president, in a letter dated Monday 9th, and addressed to the sacked monarch, described Sanusi's destroyment as sad and good news. The letter was shared on Twitter by Dino Malayi, who used to represent Kogi at the upper chamber. Mr. Obasanjo, in the personally signed document, went on to note that Sanusi's removal by the Kano State government on Monday, March 9th, was sad because he did not deserve it, but it was also good as he had paid the price. Nonetheless, the ex-Nigerian leader prayed to God to give the dethroned monarch fortitude and courage as he continues on the path he had chosen. Sanusi has been under much heat throughout the emirate crisis rocking the state. Sanusi's dethronement came after the State Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Confirming the development, Alhaji Usman Alhaji, Kano secretary to the state government, said that the monarch's sack takes effect immediately. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa says there is no going back on the planned creation of regional security outfit in the South-South. Speaking during an interview on Channel Television's Sunday Politics, Governor Okowa said regardless of some criticisms trailing the move, he and his colleagues will not be deterred by some negative comments. According to him, the governors decided to create the outfit to address the security challenges facing the region for the overall good of the people. The fact is that whatever you do, even when you mean the best for your state and the best for the nation, You always have a statement of people turning it into politics, and some people will want to criticize you. But as governors, ours is to do things in the best interest of the states and in the best interest in the larger majority of the people, and we cannot stop people from playing politics out of whatever we do. He stated that they will not be deterred by the criticisms of some group of people, as we are elected as governors to do the best we can to secure our people and to bring development to our people. Speaking further, the Delta State Healthman noted that these regional governors do not need to seek permission from anybody or group before carrying out their constitutional responsibility. He believed that following a joint meeting, there is an urgent need to share a security approach and support the security agencies, the police, military, with the civilian outfit so that collaboratively they can truly become more efficient. Okowa's comment comes shortly after the coalition of Niger Delta agitators, CNDA, warned the South-South governors against establishing a regional security outfit. In a statement, the group accused the governors of having an ulterior political motive behind the move for the outfit. Awareness for Good Leadership, Peace and Development, Abdiga, has called on the Katsina State Government and the Northwest region to establish an outfit similar to Amotekun to tackle insecurity. Amotekun, the security outfit formed by Southwest governors, was initiated to support government security agencies in protecting the region. Abdiga President Abdullahi Aliyu gave the advice in a chat with journalists after he submitted a petition at the Katsina State Governor's Lodge in Abuja. He urged Governor Aminu Masari to rethink his recent decisions and policies, including the suspension of activities of vigilante groups. Now reports that Alhaji Aliyu warned that the decision will further expose the people of bandit attacks. He said recent attacks on various communities in Katsina State exposed how vulnerable these people are as a result of banning activities of vigilante group 9 months ago without introducing another measure. States such as Kaduna, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Adamawa, Plateau, Borno, Southwest and Southeastern states, vigilantes and hunters are encouraged to support security personnel in tackling insecurity and insurgency. 9 months ago, retired generals, other senior military officers, elder statesmen, senior police officers and various stakeholders from Katsina State held a conference with a view to support the state government. Up till today, the state government has not received a report that has a combined input from senior citizens from the state. The group lamented that the dissolution of elected chairmen of 34 local governments in Katsina State had affected the economy and security of over 2 million people in the state. Abga further advised Masari to urgently meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people across the state. The World Congress of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has ended in crisis in Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria. This comes as a group in the party led by the PDP organizing secretary in Ekiti, Mr. Ayo Oladimeji, accused the immediate past governor of the state, Ayodele Fayose, and his loyalists of hijacking the process. The exercise ended in crisis as the group besieged the purported location where they attacked vehicles said to belong to the former governor and his allies before the intervention of security officials. The leader of the electoral team and deputy governor of Taraba State, Haruna Manu, could not be reached for comment before leaving the state. Addressing reporters, Oladimeji alleged that the former governor comprised the electoral officers from Abuja by concocting fake results at a hotel in Ado Ekiti, the state capital. They went to hidden places, which we have just discovered now. They wrote all the results which they were supposed to have collected on the field according to the directive. The organizing secretary said he complained to the Taraba State Deputy Governor that some of the materials were hijacked. He insisted that the electoral officers did not go to the respective local government where they were directed to conduct the Congress, but stayed elsewhere to write the results. In his reaction, Fayose's spokesman, Lere Olayinka, faulted the allegations, saying the complainants were politically naive. Rather, he accused the group of jumping the gun by proceeding with the Congress hours before the arrival of the designated electoral officers from the nation's capital. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU has embarked on a 2-week warning strike with effect from Monday. The strike was declared by the National Executive Committee (NEC) of ASU, which ended its meeting in Enugu on Monday. The president of ASU, Biodun Ogunyemi, announced the strike in Enugu. The strike follows the decision of the federal government to stop the salaries of lecturers who have not enrolled in the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System (IPPIS). ASU is opposed to the use of IPPIS for lecturers. The strike action is also to compel federal government to implement the agreements and resolutions of Memorandum of Action discussed in the 2009 ASU Federal Government Nigeria Agreement, the 2013 Memorandum of Understanding, and the 2017 Memorandum of Action, all of which have not been implemented. Some of the issues pointed out by the union include non-payment of February salaries and non-remittance of third-party deductions from the workers' salaries. In a statement made available to Premium Times, Mr. Ogunyemi described the IPPIS as a fraud that permits the enrollment of ghost workers and constitutes a financial drain on the scarce resources of the Nigerian state. The ugly experiences of those who have been coached to enroll in the IPPIS platform, as well as the patriotic testimony of a former Auditor General for the Federation, bear eloquent testimony to the monumental flaw of IPPIS. For the avoidance of doubt, the resistance to the deployment of IPPIS in the university is a patriotic action. The IPPIS run-fall of the University's Miscellaneous Provisions Act as amended. The union also said the deficiencies and decay on campuses are compounded by the unnecessary meddlesomeness in the internal administrative procedures and process of our universities by the government and its agents. The Lagos State government has given the names of 2 individuals that had contact with the Italian index case of coronavirus. The Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, Professor Akin Abayomi, revealed this on Monday while giving an update on the new case of the virus recorded in the country. He gave the details of the male persons as Enwelunta Godfrey and Salami Abiodun Sodiq and urged the media to be of assistance in locating them. Abayomi said the federal and state ministries of health were looking for the 2 individuals who were on the same flight with the Italian. According to him, the state decided to make the names public due to the government's inability to trace them based on the contact information they gave when boarding the plane. This comes after the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ihanire, announced the 2nd case of coronavirus while briefing reporters in Benin City, the Edo State capital. He noted that the newly confirmed case was a contact of the index case and not an importation into the country. Ihanire explained that the government has adopted some important response strategies at the containment stage, which include identifying all contacts and ensuring their strict isolation, among others. He disclosed that it was in a process that the 2nd case of the virus was detected. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back on Business. Over to Fauzia.
Hello there, welcome to Business Updates. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Opiyemi Bamidele, has explained the approval of $22.7 billion loan request by President Muhammadu Buhari. Senator Bamidele, in an interview with newsmen on Monday in Iyin Iketi, stated that the Senate's decision was to save the country's economy from sliding into recession. He said that 10.8 trillion 2020 budgetary provision by the Buhari's government was prepared in a way that would avert another economic quagmire. He said the step they took was to avert economic recession because to prevent such, the government would have to build infrastructure such as roads, rail lines, create wealth, provide employment and carry out other social services to help the people. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, quoted him as saying the legislative and the executive arms are working towards the same goal of developing the nation. The planners of the economy knew that the budget must be well funded because we have to keep spending on infrastructure to avert recession. The 2020 budget estimate of the federal government was high, and the government must ensure that it is made implementable through proper funding, and the loan will help in making the funds available. The question the people should ask is, what are the plans in place for proper spending on the loan? And the people should see it as a welcome development and way to keep the economy soaring. Noting that criticism was normal, Bamidele told the people to understand that the loan is well appropriated for the budget and will create wealth and lift the economy. He assured Nigerians that the Senate won't allow corruption under any guise and will put legislation in place to stop pilfering the nation's money. That's all on business updates. I still remain Fawzi Ibrahim. Have a nice day.
On spot, over to Sufyan.
Hello, I am Abu Svtv Bakar and I welcome you to Standard Voice Television Sports Room, and as usual I bring the sports updates. The Italian Olympic Committee has suspended all footballing and sporting activities in the country amid fear of wider spreads of coronavirus. Italy is the country with the second most confirmed cases of coronavirus after only China. So far, over 100,000 Italians have been quarantined and over 8,000 have been confirmed with the virus. And the death toll is still 355 as at Monday evening. It is with this regard that the Italian Sporting Committee have suspended all footballing and sporting activities in the country. So far, a lot of Italian football matches have been affected and will be affected until the beginning of April. The suspension doesn't include UEFA competition, as UEFA Champions League and Europa games will be played despite the fears. And now on the UEFA Champions League, later in the day, Leipzig will host Tottenham Hotspur in the second round tie of the round of 16 after defeating Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Stadium 1-0 earlier last month, while Valencia will host Atlanta after losing 1-4 away at Atlanta. And tomorrow, Liverpool are expected to host Atletico Madrid after losing 1-0 at the Wanda Metropolitan Stadium in Spain, while Borussia Dortmund will go away to PSG after defeating PSG 2-1 earlier last month, also when Braut Haaland scored 2 goals in the game. And in the lone English Premier League game to be played on Wednesday, Arsenal FC will host Manchester City as they continue their resurgence towards achieving a top 4 finish at the end of the season. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
And on the international scene. Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Wuhan Tuesday for the first time since the city emerged as the epicenter of the coronavirus epidemic in January, as major sign that officials believe the outbreak is under control. This visit came as unprecedented quarantine measures that have sealed off Wuhan and the rest of central Hubei province since late January appear to have paid off, with new infections dropping dramatically in recent weeks. China's progress stands in stark contrast with the growing global crisis, with cases now growing at a faster pace abroad and Italy enacting its own nationwide lockdown. State media images showed Xi, who arrived the plane in Hubei's capital, wearing a mask as he spoke via video link to frontline medical workers and patients who are at one of the failed hospitals set up in the city. State media said Xi went to a residential community in Wuhan to speak with people quarantined and frontline community workers. China's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong is usually a daily fixture in state media but has stayed out of the spotlight for much of the crisis and assigned Premier League King Gang to oversee the response of the epidemic. Li and a vice premier have already visited the virus-stricken city of Wuhan. But as the number of new cases has fallen in recent weeks, state media has played up this role in the fight against the outbreak, releasing a speech last month in which he said he had been given instructions since early January. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Governor Bello Matawalle says Zamfara State is safe for investors. Kano government appoints Nasiru Ado Bayero as new emir of Bichi Emirate. Obasanjo reacts to emir of Kano's removal. On business, where Senate approved Buhari's request for $22.7 billion loan. On sport, the Italian government suspends all sporting activities amidst coronavirus fears. And on the international scene, China's President Xi pays first visit to Wuhan. That's the news on behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs, Ibrahim Garbatuni. I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant time. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Bye.